Today we have a video from Gearoid McCarthy, a famous singer, songwriter and artist in Ireland. Of course, his dad passed away I think last week, RIP to him, and he actually passed away due to negligence from the UL hospital, some hospital in Limerick anyways. And he basically calls out the Irish government on the incompetence and lack of qualifications that each and every member of the government have in Ireland. And it's a really interesting video. I wanted to react to this one today because it went trending like crazy, and he basically just gives a whole spiel on what exactly happened to his dad and how exactly the government are handling things in the last little while. So I think literally the tide is massively starting to shift now. People that would never talk about politics are now talking about politics in Ireland, and that sort of pushback has gotten so massive on social media. I've definitely noticed it. The last 3 months have been massive. I've been making political videos for maybe about a year and a half, but the last 3 months have really been revolutionary since Garen flippin' got cancelled. Garen, a guy that is completely, his views were mediocre at best, guys. That they were not even inflammatory whatsoever, and this is coming from a guy that, I put up posts every single day on political stuff, and it's just unbelievable to see now the tide is completely shifted. And if you guys have a voice, make sure to speak up, to make change in this world, guys, because we can vote for a better future for Ireland, especially people that are going to live here their whole lives like I am. So make sure to get your vote in, make sure to speak up democratically, guys. This is what Ireland is based on. This is what Ireland was founded on, the country. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Hello everybody. So my name is Gearoid McCarthy. You've probably seen what has happened online. I was playing in Newfoundland last week. My dad unfortunately passed away, and I did my best to get home to him and I couldn't. I'd like to thank you all for all your amazing words of support over the last few weeks, but I'm here today to talk about something. My father was a hero. He saved people all his life. He was a fireman, and he died from negligence in the regional hospital in Limerick. He was a man with COPD, and they gave him no oxygen for a very long time, and that was the beginning of the end for my dad. And we could stand here and point fingers at the people in the regional, but I can tell you now that those people do some amazing work. They unfortunately don't have the facilities to get that A&E department specifically running correctly. There's even shows about this on RTE. It's an absolute disgrace. So I could go and point fingers in Limerick if I wanted, but I decided over the last few days I'd do my research and figure out where the problem really lies.
Oh, here we go.
Our government aren't good enough. They're not qualified for the jobs that they are in, and I'm going to show you what I mean now. So, our Minister for Health between 2016 and 2020 was a man called Simon Harris. He studied valuation surveying, and then he switched to journalism and French, and he dropped out of that. And for 4 years somehow that man got a job at the top level in our country, which isn't good enough, and that was between 2016 and 2020.
So yeah, taking it step by step there, like a degree that's nothing to do with being a leader, and of course then after 4 years of failing college degree, which college, guys, is quite an easy thing in Ireland, especially it's paid for, it's free. So when you get it, like I have a degree in business, of course economics and business and marketing, and you don't need a degree or anything sort of qualifications to become in the government, but you definitely need some experience, some degree of experience. So yeah, that just seems ridiculous to drop out and then get one of the biggest, the biggest job, one of the biggest jobs in the whole country is unbelievable.
I'll move on to Stephen Donnelly, who was our health minister between 2020 and 2025. He studied mechanical engineering, and then he moved to London to work in management consultancy. How can you get a job over the health service in Ireland when you've never worked in it? Our current one, and obviously she's just not qualified either, her name is Jennifer Carol McNeil. She studied economics and social science, and she studied public policy and political science.
So the degrees, or I mean the lack thereof degrees, their attempted shot at a degree, because they all drop out of the college degree, have nothing to do with actually the sector, the department. So, unbelievable.
Now, One of the biggest problems we have in this country at the moment is people are pointing fingers at each other. Start looking, start doing your research, because all the problems in this country come from having people in the jobs, in the top ministerial jobs in this country, who are not qualified to be there. If you were going to be over the health service in this country, you should absolutely have worked in A&E. You should absolutely have worked all across hospitals, and you should be the one making decisions, not someone who has a degree in mechanical engineering and political science. We need people who know what they're talking about in these positions. So, in memory of my father, I'm going to push to make sure that this happens, and I'd like to start a conversation today, because this isn't good enough. This is all across the board. To be honest, I mean, I could go through all of the politicians, and none of them are qualified to be, apart from one. I could only find one, and he had qualifications to be in the job he's in, and his name is Jim O'Callaghan.
So yeah, he won't go through them all, but we will go through them all at the end of this video, so stick around. Now, he said specifically there he wants to start a conversation about that, okay, how nobody's qualified for the positions that they're in, and obviously, this conversation has been going on for decades, if anything, okay? It's just that people now, in the last 3 months, are only starting to wake up to this, okay? I'm not saying that this guy's only started to wake up to this now, but people like myself have only woken up to this in the last year or two, so the average person wouldn't really know or look too in depth to any of these things that are happening, right?
He had qualifications. He's the only one I can see that has them, and these people should not any longer be making the decisions for the people of this country. Irish people know that this government treats us like shit, and they are relying on us to just lie down and take it while they put 13 billion that we got from Apple into an account. That needs to go to fix this country, but I wouldn't trust those lads as far as I throw them to make the decisions. And also, there's one thing I would like to point out. I watch the elections here every year, and if there's one thing I want to campaign to stop, it's that these boys can hand their votes on to their friends. You see,
well, here's the thing, and this is the top level down corruption that happens, guys. The positions are given to their friends, cousins, like a whole family thing, and this famous quote in Ireland, it's not what you know, it's who you know, okay? And this obviously is really destructive. It should be the best person for the job. It should be the most qualified, the most sensible, the most professional person, but that doesn't happen in reality, ever.
It's like one guy gets knocked out and all of a sudden his votes are transferred to the other Mr. Fianna Fáil or the other Mr. Fine Gael. And it's bullshit. It's designed to keep them in power.
Oh yeah.
And I won't rest. My father was a hero, and I'm not going to rest and watch all of you destroy our country. So stop pointing the fingers at the wrong people, everybody. We saw what happened with Mr. Garnoon the other day. Just stop pointing fingers and look at the real problem. The real problem is up there in the door. And the sooner everybody realises that, the better, because these people simply aren't qualified for the jobs that they are in, and as a result of that I have lost my dad. He was 78, he had COPD, but that man had a bit of life in the old dog yet, as they say. And I was robbed of that with my dad.
And he is a hero, and he should have been given more treatment, because he said his dad was a firefighter. Okay, obviously that's what the best people made this country: firefighter, police, construction workers. These people are like the root, the best people in the country, and they should be given all the best things, the best medical services, the best sort of dental, all that sort of stuff, guys, should be definitely the top tier level for these people that sacrifice for the country.
And I wanted to make this video today to start a conversation about how, if you go for a job interview, you need qualifications to be in that job.
Oh yeah.
How a man who was a mechanical engineer and a management consultant could have got into power is beyond a disgrace.
So I've been saying this for the past, since I was like 14, since I started watching Jesse Ventura Conspiracy Theory years ago. Okay, Jesse Ventura obviously talks about a lot of different things like that, how these people, how they cover up things, and if you actually do wrong in the government, guys, not only are you not fired, you're actually rewarded, because they try and cover it up with more payments and sort of put you in a different department. Whereas if that was done in the private sector, like if you were a doctor and you messed up, or if you were a surgeon you messed up, or if you were even a construction worker and you messed up, you'd be fired, you'd be off the site, you'd be off the flipping, you'd be out of the operation room if you were a doctor in a flipping day, guys. But for some reason, as a politician, they just kind of fund them more and they just kind of switch them around to different areas. We saw that with the RT spending scandal and stuff. So yeah, this is a whole industry, okay, built off giving people's friends and you know, because people don't care about politics really too much in Ireland. They just vote Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. That's all people know. Sinn Féin. You know, Sinn Féin is the opposition party. Like, and they're all kind of the same up there, you know. There needs to be complete radical overchange, you know, by voting in different people. Conor McGregor for one, okay? I know he's going for presidency, but other people, you know.
Now, we need politicians in this world. We need people to deal with politics. But I believe in those positions, we should have people, like in housing, in the ones that are critical to life, we should have people who know what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever about a lot of them. But we should have people who know what they're talking about, representing us and pushing forward in Ireland for the good of the people. And unfortunately, I haven't seen that in a very long time in this country, if ever.
Dude, that hasn't been the case in like 30 years. Longer. 100 years. I mean, maybe in the beginning of the state, you know, it was kind of grand, it was getting better, but geez, now, lads, it's just awful, man. The last 20 years, with Leo Varadkar and stuff, the whole country's just, yeah, gone down.
Saw it, to be honest. The government don't give a shit about the people, and unfortunately the people don't seem to give a shit about the government. But it's time we started. So let's just start a conversation here today about how you can get into a job like that with absolutely no idea what goes on in a hospital, because I can assure you these people's parents aren't going into A&E in the region when they get sick. And I'm only talking about Limerick because that's where I'm from. And I've been in the regional a lot of times with my dad, and I know, I can tell you this, everyone is scared to go to hospital anyway.
Oh yeah.
But people, when it comes to going to the A&E in Limerick, dread it and would do anything to avoid it, because I've sat in there myself for 20 hours without even being called.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, even the hospital in Galway and Dublin, I mean, this is why I always tell people prioritize health. I'm a personal trainer. You don't drink, don't smoke excessively, you know, don't do this, don't do drugs, don't do stuff like that. And even at that, guys, you know, you can't prioritize health 100% because you might get a brain aneurysm. You don't know what the hell might happen. Okay, anything can happen, and then you might end up in a hospital, public hospital, and that's it, man. You're done. Okay, so you know, it's a crazy, scary scenario, man. It's unbelievable, man. It's just like you're kind of waiting for this. I mean, if you're lucky enough to get private healthcare, you might be pretty much okay, but short of that, guys, you're in a rough situation.
There's no organisation in these places, and that's not the fault of the people that work in them. Any company that's going poorly, you look at the top and you can tell.
True.
And yeah, this is just not good enough. This only took me not too long to research, to be honest. You can look it up on Wikipedia and get on.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to quickly go over here to the quick AI that I've just constructed, guys. We have Grok, okay, Grok 3, which is like this amazing system, okay, basically just AI. And look at all the different roles here. So we talked about Simon Harris. Micheál Martin, guys, Taoiseach of January 2025, and he was the Minister for Foreign Affairs. He has a bachelor degree in arts, history and English, and is trained as a secondary school teacher. But he's the Minister for Foreign Affairs. What exactly qualifications does this guy have for talking to massive people, Russian, America, Britain, Germany? Like, this guy has to deal with massive politics on a monumental scale, and he's a flippin' school teacher, which to me would sound kind of okay, because I like the whole idea of a statesman, someone who doesn't have a career politician. But look at what it says here, guys. You know, it says none of these people have complex degrees, and that would be an argument because it undefines his credibility in roles requiring deep policy expertise. Okay, like, this is stuff that's like really, really very easily, you know, destroyed, because, you know, if these positions aren't done properly, you can ruin the whole place, right? You can ruin the whole country. Then we have the worst person of all time, in my personal opinion, the person who's ruined the country, Leo Varadkar. He obviously was the Taoiseach, and he studied a degree in medicine, but it's highly relevant as his Minister for Health, absolutely, for 2 years. But why the hell he would be with you know, massive sort of reliance on, you know, his medicine degree, but he has no clinical background in housing or economic policy, okay? And he's leaned heavily on a liberal urban focus agenda and is completely disconnected from the rest of Ireland, okay? He basically just focused on Dublin. I mean, Liam Varadkar, the worst person ever. Then we have Mary Luke MacDonald, okay, studied English at Trinity, English literature at Trinity, and now she's the leader of Sinn Féin, which, what the hell having a degree in English has to do with anything? She doesn't really have a background in anything, basically, and it's unclear that even she finished a degree. And guys, getting a college degree in Ireland, like, it's very easy, okay, and it's free. So yeah, unbelievable, guys. Let me know your thoughts on that. I said I just had to react to that. So that's, of course, Irish singer Gearoid McCarthy calling out people, okay, because of his father's, you know, death. Okay, he has 400,000 across all platforms. He's a pretty massive, you know, artist, guys. He's a pretty massive person in the whole scene, you know, the influencer scene in Ireland. Singer, of course. But yeah, interesting to see just people that are, you know, not really into politics like that waking up to this stuff, guys. Like, and people really need to wake up, like I said in the past few videos. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one, man. Peace.